Airlines are denying boarding, and most travelers never saw it coming. From new ID laws to surprise document checks, even being a little rude could get you grounded. Before you head to the airport, watch this. These 20 rules could be the difference between takeoff and being left behind. 20 reasons why you will be denied boarding at airports in 2025. First, oversized carry-on luggage. It used to be that gate agents might give you a pass if your bag was a little overstuffed. Not anymore. In 2025, airlines are enforcing carry-on size restrictions with military precision. Measuring racks are being used more frequently, and if your bag doesn't fit perfectly, gate agents are empowered to make a call. Check it or don't fly. Some travelers refuse to check their bags because they're carrying fragile items, electronics, or even medication. But refusal to comply, especially at the last minute, can lead to denial of boarding. One world-renowned violinist was nearly barred from a flight unless she checked her priceless 200-year-old instrument. She didn't, and she missed the flight. The lesson? Know your airline's size limits. If your bag is even close to the edge, don't risk it. And never argue at the gate. It won't end in your favor. Third, you declined facial recognition boarding. Facial recognition technology is rolling out at more airports worldwide. It's fast, secure, and, depending on who you ask, a little unnerving. At some airports, particularly for international flights, it's now the standard for boarding. Refusing to participate, either due to privacy concerns or discomfort, could slow you down or even prevent you from flying. In cases where opting out isn't allowed, particularly for non-citizens, you may be outright denied boarding. Even when opting out is technically permitted, manual processing can cause delays that result in a missed flight. Bottom line, facial recognition is here to stay. And for now, opting out comes with risks. Fourth, your booking had a hidden glitch. You found an incredible fare online, the booking went through, and your confirmation email arrived, so you're all set, right? Not always. Behind the scenes, booking errors can happen. Failed credit card authorizations, incomplete data transfers between third-party sites and airlines, or confusion from booking two one-way flights on different carriers can all cause issues. You might show up only to find your reservation was never finalized, or worse, was canceled without notice. To avoid this, always confirm your booking directly with the airline at least 48 hours before departure. And take screenshots of your confirmation details, just in case. 5. Ended up on a no-fly list. This is the nightmare scenario. Everything seems fine until a gate agent quietly pulls you aside and informs you that you're not allowed to board. No reason given, no immediate fix. You're grounded. In 2025, incidents of travelers being mistakenly flagged by security databases or placed on no-fly lists due to name confusion, system glitches, or past, often minor, incidents are increasing. One traveler was banned from flying because her name matched that of someone flagged in a different country. Another missed her sister's wedding due to a database error that took weeks to resolve. To protect yourself, don't joke about security, avoid any conflict while flying, and if you've had issues before, contact your airline in advance to confirm your status. The gate is not the place to discover this kind of problem. 6. No real ID, no flight. Starting in 2025, the TSA is fully enforcing the Real ID Act, and that means your old driver's license might not get you through airport security anymore, even for domestic flights. If your ID doesn't have that little star in the corner, it's not compliant. And without a real ID or acceptable alternative, like a passport, you won't be allowed to board. This change has caught many travelers off guard, especially those who haven't flown recently. Just because you made it through security before doesn't mean you still can. The rules have officially changed, and enforcement is strict. If you're unsure whether your ID qualifies, check your state's DMV website or the DHS Real ID tool. If you're not compliant, either upgrade your ID or plan to carry your passport for domestic air travel. Don't assume you're good to go. Check now, or risk being turned away at the checkpoint. Seventh, a damaged passport. Your passport is more than a travel document, it's your official identity abroad. But here's what most people don't realize. Even slight physical damage can render your passport invalid in the eyes of airline staff or border agents. We're not just talking about a completely shredded document. A single tear on a page, water stains, loose binding, faded ink, or even a tiny hole punch left over from an old visa can raise eyebrows. Why? Because immigration officers and airline staff are trained to spot altered or counterfeit documents, and a damaged passport could be mistaken for tampering. If they can't clearly read your details or the embedded chip is compromised, you might be denied boarding on the spot. There's also the issue of electronic chip damage in biometric passports. If the chip doesn't scan properly, especially in countries that use e-gates or automated immigration systems, you may be flagged for manual inspection or entry denial. A few weeks before any international trip, give your passport a full inspection. Flip through every page. Look for water damage, fading, tears, or anything suspicious. If it's even slightly questionable, it's worth renewing. Many embassies offer expedited service if you're tight on time. 8. The gate closed before you arrived. A common misconception is that arriving at the airport before the flight time means you're in the clear. But flight time is not boarding time. Most airlines now close the boarding gate 15 minutes prior to departure. Some, especially in busy hubs or with fully booked flights, are closing it even earlier. It doesn't matter if you're 5 feet from the gate when the door closes, you're not getting on. Airlines won't reopen a closed door. Not for anyone. Not even if you sprinted through the terminal like an action hero while your name echoed over the PA. Your best bet? Arrive early and keep a close eye on boarding times, not just the departure time listed on your ticket. 9. Your name didn't match your ID. You'd be surprised how often this one trips people up. A single character off between your boarding pass and your official ID can spell disaster. In the era of heightened security, airlines are required to match your ticket exactly with your passport or government-issued ID. Even shortening your name, like using Alex instead of Alexander, can cause issues if your ID doesn't match. There was even a case where someone jokingly booked a ticket under the name Fluffy McKittens for a friend. Needless to say, the joke didn't fly, and neither did the friend. Always double-check that the name on your ticket matches your ID letter for letter. If you spot a typo, call the airline and get it corrected. Some may charge a fee, but that's better than being grounded. 10. Your name isn't on the passenger list. This one feels like a tech glitch, and sometimes it is, but it's shockingly common. You've checked in, you have a boarding pass in hand. But when you get to the gate and the agent scans your ticket, their system says, "Sorry, you're not on the list." What's going on? There are a few possible culprits. The booking was never finalized due to a failed or delayed payment. A third-party site glitched during processing. Your name was entered incorrectly and doesn't match the system. The airline double-booked or involuntarily canceled your seat. Even if everything looks good on your phone or email, if your name isn't in the airline's master manifest, you're not flying. And here's the worst part. Airlines aren't always legally obligated to fix it quickly. especially if you didn't book directly with them. You could spend hours at the customer service desk trying to prove you do have a valid reservation. So always confirm your booking directly with the airline at least 24 to 48 hours before your flight. Don't just rely on a third-party confirmation email. Log into the airline's site or app and make sure your itinerary, name, and payment are all locked in. If anything looks strange, call immediately. 11th, being rude to staff. This one should be common sense, but sadly, it's still one of the leading reasons travelers are denied boarding. Let's be honest, airports are stressful. Long lines, delays, security checks, baggage worries. It's easy to get frustrated. But here's the deal. Airline staff have the power to refuse boarding to anyone they believe may pose a problem, and that includes people who are simply disrespectful or confrontational. You don't need to yell or get physical to be flagged. Sometimes even sarcasm, passive-aggressive comments, eye-rolling or snapping at a gate agent is enough to trigger concern. If you're viewed as a potential disturbance on board, the crew can and will say no thanks. And don't expect a refund or a rebooking if you're kicked out for behavior. That's on you. So if your flight is delayed or your seat got double booked, stay cool. The people behind the desk didn't create the problem, but they can help fix it. Kindness and calmness go further than you think. Sometimes the best travel hack is just being nice. 12th, incomplete or invalid travel documents. When it comes to international travel, your passport is just the beginning. Many destinations require additional documentation, things like health declarations, transit visas, digital travel authorizations, like the upcoming ETIAS for Europe, or even proof of vaccination. And here's the kicker. If you're missing just one of these, you might not even make it past the gate. Airlines are held responsible for ensuring passengers meet the entry requirements of their destination country. If you show up with incomplete or invalid paperwork, the airline can, and will, deny you boarding to avoid fines and complications. This applies even during layovers, where you might not leave the airport. That's why it's crucial to research every country on your itinerary, not just your final stop. Use official embassy websites, not just travel blogs, to verify what documents are needed. And always double-check expiration dates, print hard copies, and keep backups digitally. 13. You were rude to the airline staff. You may not realize how much power airline staff have until you're face-to-face with one, and not in a good way. Gate agents and flight crews are trained to deny boarding to anyone they suspect may cause a disturbance on board. And in today's tense travel climate, it doesn't take much to raise a red flag. Snapping at a gate agent over baggage fees, rolling your eyes when asked to switch seats, or being sarcastic during check-in could be all it takes. Airline staff don't need a long explanation. They just need a hunch. And their judgment sticks. Your best move? Stay cool, calm, and collected. Being polite could be your boarding pass. 14. You were bumped from an overbooked flight. Even when you do everything right, check in early, show up on time, smile at the gate agent, you might still get bumped. Why? Overbooking. Airlines routinely sell more tickets than there are seats, banking on no-shows. When everyone shows up, someone has to go. Airlines usually ask for volunteers and offer perks. But if no one takes the bait, they start selecting passengers, often based on check-in order, ticket type, or frequent flyer status. To avoid being that unlucky passenger, check in as early as possible. Join your airline's loyalty program, even if you're a casual flyer. And avoid basic economy fares. 15th, no travel insurance. Once considered a nice-to-have, travel insurance is now a legal requirement in multiple countries. Nations like Thailand, the UAE, and certain Caribbean islands demand proof of coverage, especially if your trip includes health risks, adventure sports, or extended stays. Some require minimum medical coverage amounts. Others want to see emergency evacuation benefits. A printed PDF from your insurance provider might be needed at check-in, no insurance, no flight. Even if your destination doesn't mandate it, some airlines ask for it, especially on long-haul flights. It's also incredibly smart to have. It protects you against delays, lost baggage, cancellations, and medical emergencies. Don't let your entire trip collapse over something as simple and cheap as travel insurance. It could literally be your boarding pass. 16. Not disclosing medical conditions. If you live with a serious health condition, like epilepsy, a heart condition, or severe allergies, it's important to notify the airline in advance. Why? Because if you suddenly need help mid-flight and didn't give them a heads up, the airline may argue it wasn't equipped to support you and may deny boarding on safety grounds. This is especially true if you require oxygen or mobility assistance. You're flying after a recent surgery or hospitalization. You may need medication or equipment on board. Some airlines require medical clearance forms or even a doctor's note. It's not about discrimination. It's about managing risk responsibly in a closed cabin, 35,000 feet in the air. Bottom line, if you have special medical needs, communicate early. Don't wait until you're standing at the gate to ask for help. 17. You smelled. Off. This one's awkward, but real. If airline staff or fellow passengers complain about strong body odor, overwhelming perfume, or even the scent of smoke on your clothes, you could be denied boarding. This policy exists to prevent discomfort or allergic reactions during flights, and decisions are typically made on the spot. There are no universal standards for what constitutes offensive. It's subjective, and often based on a single complaint. Before heading to the airport, make sure your scent is neutral and fresh. Skip the heavy colognes, essential oils, and smoke breaks. 18. You didn't have the right passport. Not all identification is created equal. If you're traveling internationally, or even domestically in some countries, you'll need proper documents. In the U.S., for example, 2025 is seeing stricter enforcement of the Real ID Act. That old driver's license may no longer get you through security. Passport issues are another common hurdle. Some countries require 6 months of passport validity beyond your arrival date. Others require at least 2 blank visa pages. If your passport is damaged, torn, waterlogged, or heavily worn, you could be turned away. Check ID requirements well before your flight and renew or update documents as needed. This is not something to gamble on. 19th. Involuntary rebooking confusion. Imagine this. Your flight gets canceled or severely delayed, and the airline rebooks you automatically. You assume everything is fine, but then you miss the rebooked flight because the notification never reached you. Now the gate agent tells you, "Sorry, you missed your connection," and you're officially a no-show. Airlines are doing this more often in 2025, especially when flights are disrupted. But automated rebooking systems don't always notify passengers clearly. Emails get filtered. Texts come late. Some people don't even realize their original flight has changed. What's worse, some airlines consider missed rebookings as voluntary no-shows, which can make it harder to get any compensation or another flight. The fix? Take control of your itinerary. Use the airline app, turn on all notifications, and check your flight status constantly. Don't assume you'll get a call or text. Treat travel like a team sport. You and your phone are in it together. 20. Silent flight cancellations. This one stings. You've arrived early, cleared security, bought overpriced snacks, settled in at the gate, only to hear that your flight was canceled hours ago and you were never told. It's not a glitch, it's just how things are now. Airlines sometimes quietly cancel flights due to weather, staffing issues, or operational limits. And the worst part? They don't always notify every passenger, especially if you booked through a third party. The gate monitors may not update fast enough. Even the boarding pass on your phone might still say, "On time." To avoid this nightmare, don't just rely on airline texts. Track your flight yourself through the airline's official app. Third-party apps like FlightAware, Flight Radar 24, or TripIt. Google's Flight Tracker. Know your flight number, gate, and departure time, and check often. That 5-second check could save you 5 hours of chaos. So, there you have it. 20 reasons why people are being denied boarding in 2025 more than ever before. Some of them are technical, some are personal, and some are just plain frustrating. But the common thread? Most of them are 100% avoidable. Travel is meant to be exciting, but it also demands preparation. If you want your journey to start on a high note and not end at the gate, take these tips to heart. And hey, if you found this helpful, smash that like button, subscribe for more insider travel tips, and drop a comment below if you've ever faced one of these situations, or if you have a tip of your own to share. Safe travels, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next video.